life. Why even play with your life? Bank account looking like yikes. The ops on IG all the time.
Hello again, everybody. It is the coach. You're tuned in to Madden 19 on EA Sports. On deck, we've got what should be a great matchup between the Detroit Lions and the Minnesota Vikings. With that, we send you up to US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. Standing by our commentators, Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
And we find ourselves at the stadium that played host to Super Bowl 52, the wondrous US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. The scene a few moments ago, here it is. It's unlike any other in sport as both teams made their way out of the tunnel. These folks are fired up as their guys are ready to do battle between the Detroit Lions and the Minnesota Vikings. Hi again, everyone. Brandon Gaudin alongside Charles Davis. And Charles, you look at this Vikings ball club. They come in playing pretty good football. Winners of 4 of their last 6 games.
And the offense last week, they had things humming. If you're a defensive player, you may get overshadowed a little bit, but you're really buoyed by what your offense is doing.
Meanwhile, for the Lions here, they too were winners last time out, so something's got to give here.
And I love it when both teams come in off of wins. Great mindsets, and it usually leads to a really well-played game.
It's the final 3 weeks of the season. Still plenty to play for here as we're underway in Week 15. That's fielded in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. So here are the Lions now coming out for their opening drive. Leading the charge at quarterback, the former Georgia Bulldog, Matthew Stafford.
And it felt like in watching the game tape, he got everyone involved last week.
He was a manager.
He really was. That's a great way to put it because they ran the ball some. They threw it accurately. 1 touchdown pass, so he didn't, break the bank doing that, but he didn't throw any interceptions. That's the bottom line. That's why a defense loves a quarterback like that. Doesn't put them in bad situations.
Stafford on first down. And Cook has it, left side. And he'll get it up near the 35, right at the 34 here. Give him 9 there on the first down completion.
Seeing that play and understanding just how tough it is to cover tight ends, especially the ones running around the NFL nowadays, makes me glad I didn't make it in that league. I would have had a really difficult time.
But now you get to sit up here with me.
Yeah, and that's fun, isn't it?
Is this intercepted? It is. It's intercepted. Xavier Rhodes with a pick. And he's able to get it back here to the 43-yard line. They were ball hawks last week. They had a trio of interceptions on defense. In the first drive, they pick up right where they left off.
They're creating quite a reputation for themselves, aren't they? And sometimes what happens is when they know that the defense can take the ball away, as they saw the previous week, now you try too hard to not let them take it away, and you force yourself into errors. They've intimidated them in a sense and gotten the ball from them.
Now they'll run it on the toss. And he's going to get this down near the 30-yard line. A really nice pickup of 14 yards, and it moves the sticks.
And that's a run that'll energize an offensive line. They'll take that one all day long. Fundamental breakdown by the defense. You've got to be able to make plays on the edge.
So 1st and 10 now from the 30. Now they'll run it on the toss. Looking for a crease, can't find one. Stopped at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play there, 2nd down. So a look here at the key inactives, and we got this list before the game down on the field. They tell us the same thing every time, don't they? Next man up.
No excuses. Be ready to play. That's the mantra of every organization. The key is having guys on the roster who are capable of filling in and playing at a high level. That's when you know you've drafted well, scouted free agents well, and stocked your team just the way you're supposed to.
Looking to throw on 2nd down. Small. The hook up good to Marquise Wilson. And inside the 20 before he's brought down. A good gain of 14 there, and it moves the chains.
I got a kick out of that one, partner. You and I talk often about trying to hide receivers in certain situations, but a guy of his size can't really hide him. But the tight end drag route, definitely an effective way to sneak him across the formation for an easy.
He'll be hit and taken down at the 21. And now following that sack, looks like we've got an injured man down there on the field. While the training staff takes a peek, we'll take a break. So after the sack, here's 2nd and 14. Out of the gun, it's Osweiler. He's got the connection over the middle to Diggs. And he'll go down here at the 12-yard line. 8 yards on the completion, but now they face 3rd down.
When you see zone defense and you know you've got a drag route on as your primary call, you got to be really careful as a passer about how far you let your guy go because he might wander into some tough coverage.
This will be caught just inside the 10. And he's able to work it here to the 8-yard line. Now, after the completion, we're going to get a timeout, an injured player. Well, he gets attended to. We'll step aside. Here's Randy Bullock now as he'll go for the field goal. From the right hash, and this one just a chippy. And Bullock will put this one through. And the Vikings have a 3-0 lead. So a pretty good opening drive. That'll make the home fans somewhat happy. They wanted 6, but they got 3 in the early lead.
And they should be happy. The guys look good getting down the field. That's got to give them a little bit of hope that good things are in store here today for them.
This fielded a few yards into the end zone. And he'll get across the 20 before he's brought down at about the 23-yard line. So the Lions offense ready to go back out onto the field as we grind toward the end of the season here, and they haven't had the season that they had hoped. So let me ask you to play GM. Where might they look to make some changes?
I think when you look into the upcoming draft, think hard about them drafting multiple offensive linemen. They've got to get stouter up front. And as a GM always tells me, Charles, this is a big boy league, and big people always end up winning games for you.
To throw on 2nd down is Stafford. Oh, the ball comes out on the hit, but they'll say it's incomplete. Decker, the intended receiver, and it's 3rd down. And this pass defense, they were sensational in the win last week, and they're looking good here so far in this first quarter.
You know, we often talk about how offenses get locked in, and that runs over multiple games where they're really, in that zone. Defenses can be the exact same way, and I think we're seeing an example of it here.
And he'll get this up to the 34-yard line. First catch there for Evans, good enough for a 1st down.
I don't care who you put on him. He's going to be a handful in one-on-one throws.
Yeah, right now, you're right. They're in man-to-man. Maybe needs some safety help.
I would say that'd be a good idea. Double team him somehow. I'm going to have to make someone else beat me rather than let him shred my defense.
It's a loss of a yard there, and now 2nd down.
If you're the coaching staff upstairs, you might want to file that play away. Did you see how fast the safety closed on that one? Coming up in run support, made a big-time tackle. Might want to try and check into a pass next time.
Yeah, got him for a loss. Really, really great play defensively. Pushing his way through. That one good for 10 yards. And that'll bring up a 3rd and 1.
Despite the blitz, they're still able to pick up a nice, solid gain. The disadvantage of blitzing often alters the normal spacing and run fits and leaves creases like they were able to exploit right there.
Stafford looking to throw on 3rd and 1. Rush coming, and he's taken down. Khalil Mack in there yet again. What else is new as he continues to rewrite the record book in single-season sacks.
And that's their first sack of this game, but how about last week? 6 sacks. Great coverage downfield, which helped that pass rush. They are really working in sync right now.
Great blocking on the return. It springs him for 25. And the Vikings will take over here 1st and 10. Now the Vikings offense gets set to take over here. And they had 3 points last time, but they didn't want 3 points because they were well within range of scoring a touchdown. We'll see if they can do better now.
I'm with you on that one. Let's just go ahead and be frank about the whole thing. The only one happy about the 3-point
kicker.
Exactly. You put it through the post. That's going to help him in contract time. But that offense, they're thinking, let's get in the end zone this time.
I don't know if that helped him at contract time. You could have kicked that one through.
I don't know about that.
Toe bash.
I don't know about that. Super toe.
To throw is Osweiler. And the Lions pressure too strong. Down he goes. Devon Kennard in there to bring him down for a loss of 7. And on that one, the protection just broke down.
You've got to have that leverage, don't you? We always talk about low man wins in the running game for an offensive lineman versus a defensive lineman. It's essentially the same thing in pass protection. Get lower than that defensive lineman so that you can keep your balance.
And on third down, a nickel formation here defensively. From the gun, it's Osweiler. And Wilson has it. And taking it across midfield and just shy of the 40. Third catch of this first half for him, and this one is a first down.
When this offense can get their tight ends involved, they can move the football. Here, a nice route, able to look it in, and picks up the first down.
Osweiler now, a perfect 5 of 5 since taking over. They haven't missed a beat. First and 10. Now they try the right side here. They'll fight forward for a couple down inside the 40.
Well, we saw them there trying to get it to the outside, trying to get to the perimeter, but not a whole lot of room there. But there's got to be one positive to that. If you keep moving laterally, creases tend to develop as the game moves on, and they can run it back inside later.
And he'll get 4 here down to the 35-yard line.
On any running play that's called, they're always hoping that it's going to break big and go the distance. But when you get a nice gain like that, you're able to do so many things anyway. You can come back and run essentially the same play again, continue to move the ball on the ground, or you can decide to throw the ball now because usually you have the defense back on its heels.
Osweiler. And this is going to be incomplete. Sean Lee, the linebacker, able to get a hand in coverage.
All right, let's go ahead and try and get into the body and the mind of the linebackers. Yeah, I know they're bigger and stronger than I ever was, but in this situation, they understood what was going on as much as the offensive guys. Because the offensive guys always taught, find the first down sticks and make the play. Well, on defense, what do you want to do? Guard the first down line. Make sure they don't get there and tackle them in front. They were able to drop in their zone coverage, figure out where the first down line was, and end up making the play, swatting it away so they couldn't get the completion. Not only is a slant route really difficult to cover, it's a real staple play for an offense on a fourth down because it's a quick-hitting play. Get the ball in the hands of the quarterback right to the receiver.
And the receiver has to be ready because that thing's coming on a rope. And able to get this down inside the 15 to either the 13 or 14 before he's out of bounds. It's a 6-yard gain on the ground, and that'll make it 2nd and 4.
That's a strong pickup right there on first down. And as this drive goes on, we're seeing an offensive line and running game imposing its will.
Now a handoff looking right. And there is nowhere for him to cut back as he's taken down in the backfield. He'll wind up losing 3. And now it's 3rd down.
Count me as a little bit surprised by what we just saw there because this has been a pretty long drive. And normally you think that wears down a defense. In this case, looked like the offensive line let him down a little bit.
They allowed the penetration and the ability to stuff him for a loss. A fight for the football, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Dylan Cole. And a big turnover there as his guys will get the football back. That's now his 2nd interception in as many weeks from his linebacker position.
And think about all the different techniques he has to employ in a passing situation. Is he spot dropping because it's zone? Is he picking up man-to-man? Is he having to run with him?
And he coughs up the football near his own goal line. And I do believe the offense got this back. Goodness, they did. Their own 1-yard line is where they got it back, cutting it close here. Now, following the sack, they'll look to make amends on a 2nd down and 17. Now a first carry for their fullback. Well, he's trying to plow ahead, but I don't think he got there. He did it. That's a safety. So troubles here offensively. I tell you, the noise in this dome, that has got to make it harder for these guys to hear.
Sometimes I find myself shouting up here. But you're right. If you can't communicate well or get off the snap count properly, it can cause big problems, and this qualifies as a big problem.
And now out comes Minnesota. And there are parts of their last drive they'd like to emulate. And, of course, they'd like to forget the inning, the interception. But they did put together, Charles, a nice sustained drive to get him down the field.
Yeah, and unfortunately for them, the only thing that matters is part 2, right? because once they threw the interception and finished off the drive, that does them no good to go back and say, well, you know, we had a good one going. Finish things off. That's the only way you can get it done.
Personal foul, face mask, defense.
Well, we looked at each other right away. We knew that flag was coming out.
And I always enjoy the conversation post, because officials always tell you, I don't want to throw the flag, but you caused the play. You did it. I had to.
So the yellow flag came out, and that leads to a new set of downs for this offense, 1st and 10. And they'll try the ground game here with the running back. And he works it past the 30, almost to the 25. A minute 59 to go in the first half. More from Minneapolis after this. Running game working. They'll stick with it on 1st down. Looking for a cutback lane, but nothing there as he's met at the line of scrimmage. Credit the tackle to Darius Slay. Off the corner. Where'd he come from? Well, I guess he came off the corner, but really nice play.
I like when you're able to pose a question and answer it at the same time. That's exactly where he came from, but it's not something that you normally see. Most of the time, we're thinking about those guys covering pass catchers. In this case, he was a big factor in the run game. No gain.
The Vikings on 3rd down. They've only converted once in 4 tries. This will be 3rd and 6.
All right, now, look at 56. Look at...
From the shotgun, Osweiler. Incomplete. He had his hands on it, but couldn't pick it. But it's now 4th down.
I know ultimately that feels like a good defensive play, but I know it's really not. They had a chance to keep points off the board. Now they have a chance to kick a field goal by missing that shot.
Yeah, especially at this spot in the field. He's got to be upset he couldn't come up with that INT. No problems in the field goal department so far. He's 2 for 2.
Pretty reliable here in this game, isn't he? And to me, that bodes well for them. If they need him late in the game, his confidence should be sky high.
And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Here's the Lion offense now as they get ready to take over. And last time they surrendered to safety, we know they don't want to do that again.
That is just one of those oddities in scoring that we get, and it's just so strange to see that go up on the board, and then you got to make sure that that doesn't happen to your team again. They've got to take care of the ball.
But boy, it juices up the defense.
Oh, without a doubt. That's a great way to score some points.
It's a loss of 5 there, bringing up 2nd. On 2nd down, here's Simeon. The Vikings after him, and they get there for the sack. And now the Vikings are going to stop it here on defense with a timeout. It's just their first, so they'll have 2 remaining here before we get to halftime. After the sack, they'll come up now 3rd and long.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see them run the ball here just to try and get some space.
Simeon now to throw. And able to get this across the 20 before going out of bounds. They do get 10 back, but still a ways to go on 4th.
So much goes into a successful play, doesn't it? How about that?
After review of the play, the ruling on the field is reversed.
This challenge was initiated by the guys in New York. Taking a look at the play, less than 2 minutes to go.
Yeah, I'm sure the coach wanted to challenge it, so he's probably going to send the New York office a holiday card. 21 yards. Well done on the return. And the Vikings, they'll be set up well as they take over in great field position. 1st and 10. The 4th down run successful. Now they look to pay it off on 1st down. Now a play fake here on 1st down. Lets it fly for Treadwell. And incomplete. A drop there in the middle 3rd of the field. That'll bring up 2nd down.
Well, they went for the big play there, but that drop could really hurt their momentum.
After the incomplete pass, here now is 2nd and 10.
Watch it now, Barney! Barney! Watch it now, Barney! Barney!
Osweiler. He's going deep for Brown. And both guys were there, but it falls incomplete.
And Anytime a defense can sit back in a zone like that, it tends to create a lot of congestion in the middle of the field. Makes it very hard to slot one in.
Looked like I-4 at rush hour in your hometown of Orlando, Florida. An absolute mess. Now it's Osweiler. And he's going to be grabbed and pulled down. And now the Lions going to stop this momentarily as they call a timeout. As the clock will stop with 34 seconds to go before halftime. On now to kick it away is the punter, Matt Weil. And this one hits at the one, continues on into the end zone for a touchback. The Lions offense, they get ready to head back onto the field. And the ball backed way up, so thinking with this amount of time on the clock, probably just sit on it, and we'll see these two teams go to the lockers.
Yeah, I don't think you want to overthink it in this situation. Either side of the ball. Just go ahead and finish up the half and get on out and talk about it.
It's a loss of 2 there, bringing up second down. First play of the drive goes the wrong way. Here's second and 12. Now Riddick. And he goes nowhere. He'll lose yardage back at the 17. So I'm waltzing down Main Street, got an umbrella, just a torrential downpour, and I look over, and this guy, stone-faced, wearing a poncho that says, "Don't rain on my parade," and he is just angry. And we got to go. I'll tell you the rest later. Here we go, third quarter. Out come the Vikings. They'll have it first on offense as we begin the third. They have the lead. Now they'll be looking for some separation here as we begin the third quarter.
I like the way you term that because now I think they go a little bit deeper into their playbook. They like what they did in the first half. That worked okay. But in order to get the separation that you just talked about,
he rifles one that's intercepted. Picked off by the Alabama man, Dre Kirkpatrick. And he will score. Touchdown, Lions.
Well, partner, I do know this. If you're a defensive back, you have more chances to make a team now than ever because people are using 5 defensive backs, 6 defensive back packages. Not exclusively, but way more than before. That was a nickel package there, and what a pickoff.
Why is that? Why are they using that more?
Because more people are throwing the ball on earlier downs than ever before. This has become a passing league, and because of that, more defensive backs on the field on most plays.
All right, here we go. Boom, landed.
A shotgun snap for Simeon. This is caught. And he is not going to make it to the end zone. The defense stands tall, and they're going to hold on to their 8-6 lead. Fielded about a yard deep. And a nice return sets him up pretty good here at the 30-yard line. And the Vikings now heading onto the field. So first and 10 now from the 30. Now they'll run it on the toss. And he'll be tackled just past the 35 at the 36. He'll get a nice chunk there on the first down run, and it's second and 4.
He was hoping to get to the edge, but they did a really nice job of forcing him back inside. That's excellent fundamental defensive football. Don't run him outside where they can really shred your defense.
5 yards is the pickup there as that extends this drive.
So many teams want to throw the ball in this situation nowadays, but I love watching a team that has enough confidence to go ahead and run the football in that situation. That's almost a tendency breaker.
Watch it now, Barney, Barney.
And they'll run it here. And he takes it past the 45 and down at the 46. 5 yards on the carry. Good pickup on first down.
I call that play a success. A nice inside run sets up a very manageable second down. A very solid gain on that play.
Now a first carry for Donnell Pumphrey. It's a gain of 11 yards that time, and it produces a new set of downs.
And And that run was what a lot of people call an explosive run. Gave them good yardage, solid yardage. They feel good about the whole thing, and they did it behind a 2 tight end set. It's always interesting to watch what offenses want to do with the 2 tight ends. Sometimes they line them up together for a power set. Sometimes they put one on each side of the line of scrimmage to balance things.
And now off to the races, down the right side. Touchdown, Vikings. A great effort there. His 3rd touchdown now on the year. And the Vikings are going to add on to their lead. And on that long run, maybe the defense caught napping a little bit.
The concentration level may not have been there. I agree with you on that one, because those types of plays, when they result like that, they're almost like big bolts of lightning, aren't they? Whoosh, and off he goes.
That'll be taken in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. So out now come the Lions. They're close game, but they're going to need to do a little bit better probably here in half 2, no?
I would agree with that totally. I would guess it in the locker room. They talked about cleaning up some of the errors, but overall, I think they wanted to be positive with them. Guys, we're right there. Just not playing as well as we need to. Let's pick it up, and we still have a chance to win this game.
Yeah, they do. We'll see if they can pick it up. 6 yards on the pickup, and that'll make it 2nd down. You know, despite the scoreline, I think they've got to like where they are here. They're on the road and just one big play away from getting right back in this game.
I'm going to follow right along with you, because the spot they're in now is a credit to their defense. They've kept them in it by making the plays that they've made, and that just means you're one big score away from being right back there.
Now, the question is, can this offense step up and make that play? Because that's been an issue for them in this game. 12 yards there as they move the chains.
Despite the score, despite the deficit, no quitting this guy. He's running angry, running through arm tackles. He wants to change what that scoreboard is saying.
Set! Green, 39!
Right back to him on 1st down. And that play going absolutely nowhere as he's belted before he could get out of the backfield. They'll wind up losing 3 yards here. And that'll make this a 2nd and 13.
Anthony Barr got a real education at UCLA and playing not just his normal position of stand-up outside linebacker, but down defensive end. So he had to incorporate a variety of moves, take on bigger people. So he learned great leverage while he was there. That really helps him when he's trying to stop people running the ball.
Born in South Bend, Indiana. Thought about going back to go to Notre Dame, but you're right. Great career at UCLA and now a great career in the NFL. Pressure coming from the Vikings, and they get there and bring him down. Khalil Mack with a big-time sack on 3rd down, and it'll be a loss of 7. Coming off the line, he's been wreaking havoc all year, and look, that's why, as a result, he's getting some looks for Defensive Player of the Year in the NFL.
And I know that many people don't have him first on their list right now, but he deserves that type of consideration. You mentioned it. All year long, he's made big plays and continues to do so. Imagine if he has a big game here. If so, he could vault himself right into the #1 spot.
The 4th down run successful. Now they look to pay it off on 1st down.
Set! 3-19!
A handoff to start out the drive. It's Pumphrey. And he'll be taken down at the 18. Dre Kirkpatrick, the cornerback, up to make the stop.
3rd quarter and you've got the lead. You're not ready to go into that 4-minute offense to close the game out, but a running game can really benefit your team right now.
Now they try the right side here. He juked him, and he's able to get up here to the 26. 8 yards on the pickup there, and it moves the sticks.
In my book, that's running the ball well, but with intelligence. How about him keeping the clock moving, staying in bounds?
Yeah, even though it's the 3rd quarter, you're thinking ahead, aren't you? This is where your running game can really help you with a lead in the 2nd half.
I agree totally. It's not just end-of-the-half situations that you worry about the clock. It's throughout the game. And with a lead, stay in bounds. Make them fight harder to try and catch you.
He already has 2 sacks to his credit. Now another tackle for loss.
And you know how you can always identify who was supposed to block him? they're the ones helping up the person who just got knocked to the ground with the ball, right? Whether it's a running play or a pass play, they've got to figure out a way to slow him down. Maybe you chip him with a second guy. Maybe you just out-and-out double him. Maybe you make sure you take the ball and throw it as far away from him as possible, because right now he is wrecking things for them.
The Vikings on third down. They've had their troubles, just 1 for 6. This will be 3rd and 5. Here's Osweiler to throw. The throw left side complete to Treadwell. And he will have a first down as they get him to the ground at the 37. So they get 6 on the pickup there as the drive will continue.
Did you see that route the way that I did? I thought he was trying to get deep.
Yeah, that
first.
wasn't the first option.
No, not doing. It came off of that guy, the deep guy, and came underneath on the drag. Completed it very well.
And unable to get downhill there, so he'll take this up to about. And we return, welcoming you back to Minneapolis. It's the Vikings in possession of the football and the lead. They'll be looking to add to that total as we begin quarter number 4. Now a handoff looking right. And he'll get this up to about the 38-yard line. Back-to-back 1-yard runs here, so that leaves him with a 3rd down and 8.
Bottom line, they want to keep this clock rolling, so they'll take that one right there. They just want to keep falling forward, and they want to put the onus on the big fellas up front in order to bring this one home.
On 3rd down, Osweiler. Can't find anyone, and down he goes. Osweiler sacked.
I think you saw the same thing that I did there, partner. Remember, he's their backup quarterback, so the last thing they need is to lose another one right here on the sack. Looks like he's going to be okay, though.
Yeah, he looked like he was favoring something in the left leg. Appears to be fine now, but you're right. That O-line, they got to protect him. He gets this one away, and boy, it's another boomer. Yeah, that's a 48-yard punt with a coverage holding him to 3 on the return. And the Lions will take over. And Detroit getting set to go now. These guys had to punt last time. It has not been a very fruitful game offensively thus far. They haven't even made a trip to the red zone.
And I know that everyone's going crazy on that sideline because that drives you berserk to come off the field, not really move the ball well. As you said, not even get to the red zone, let alone.
The Red Sea parts, and there he goes. Past the 20. Touchdown, Detroit. A big play there. An 80-yard touchdown. And the Lions able to get this back within a touchdown. And Charles, I had an offensive coordinator tell me one time that they design every play to score. I don't know how true that is, but he had to run a long way after that catch. Heck of a play.
I think that when he was telling you that, he was designing run after catch in every play. I mean, that's the only way to put it in there, and that's what we got on that one. Nice catch, an even better run for big yardage.
And now out comes Minnesota. A little less than 4 minutes remaining, and the margin for error is small with this slim lead. Operate within your 4-minute offense here, Charles?
Definitely. Remember, the 4-minute offense doesn't always correspond to what's up on the clock. What they need to do is play a little bit of keep away right now. Run the clock down. Make sure their opponent doesn't get the ball back. Their dream scenario, get enough first downs and make them eat up their timeouts so the game ends when you're kneeling down with the football. Brandon, you know how many times we've done games, and at the start of the 4th quarter, we see both teams hold up the 4 fingers, 4th quarter is ours. Well, how about this drive? You saw the 4 fingers for 4-minute offense, and this offensive line has really hunkered down and established themselves.
Yeah, this is where they say, put the game on our shoulders, we'll lead the way, right?
No doubt about it, and let me tell you, if you're a running back, all you want to do is get behind those big fellas, have a little vision, and find some space.
And a solid way to do that on the first play of the drive there.
Detroit!
From the gun on 3rd down, Osweiler. And he's got his man. It's Darbo. And they'll get it up just short of the 45 at the 44. His first catch, and it's a pretty big one. They get the conversion on 3rd down. Big hook up there. Forced to throw it on 3rd down. The connection's going to keep the drive alive and also keep the clock moving.
Yeah, and from a defensive perspective, didn't get a sack, didn't knock the ball free, didn't break up the pass. The clock keeps running on you. You're in a dire situation now.
3 yards on the pickup there, and it'll be 2nd down. Now, the objective there, I mean, yes, the positive gain, that's nice, but work some clock.
Yeah, you're exactly right, but the problem for them, is still within a possession, so they can't just sit on it running the ball. They have to find a way to throw it effectively as well.
And he'll be taken down at the 44-yard line. They get 9 out of that one, and as a result, the drive continues. Time for a break. We'll come back for the electrifying conclusion after this. So the Vikings in possession of the football as we get you reset. They've got a 1st and 10 as they look to try and finish this one off. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he's able to get this one down to about the 40. And now we'll see a timeout used on defense as they stop it right out of the break with 1:57 to go in the ballgame. They'll run it now out of the gun. And a short gain there down to the 37-yard line. And now with 1:52 to go, we get another pause in the action. A timeout here defensively. The Vikings on 3rd down. They've converted a third of their opportunities, 3 for 9. This time it's 3rd and 3.
All right, now, look at 56.
Osweiler to throw. And able to find John Brown. The Lions quickly now going to use the last of their timeouts. And they'll be disappointed to have to burn one there after giving up the first down. Not totally home free yet, but it's looking good as they come up 1st and 10. And they'll indeed take a knee. If nothing else, they've already taken a couple minutes off the clock here already as they come up 2nd down. Victory formation time for the Vikings as they'll take a knee here. This offense 2 for 2 on 3rd downs on this drive. They're in for a tough test here, though. 3rd and long. Osweiler to a knee, and that should wrap this one up.
Listen, anytime you take a knee to end a game, that means you've won it. So it doesn't matter whether it's home or on the road, but there's something a little extra special about doing it in front of your home crowd, isn't there?
And the home crowd applauding. They're happy with what they've seen. Chalk this one up in the left-hand column for a win.
Yeah, that's right. Head to the locker room, throw the wristbands in the crowd for the kids, your gloves, your towels. Get to share it with the home team.
And the kick is good. So you wonder how this one might be remembered the next time these two teams meet. But until then, this game's over. And Charles, I think when the schedule comes out, all teams, no matter where they're predicted to finish, talk about protecting your home turf. They were able to do that here in this one.
Similar to a tennis match, right? Not letting them break your serve. That way you hold on to it. They got it done, and they feel very good about that victory.
So for Minnesota,